Our discussion for today is all about operating systems and system software. We're going to learn all about the basic concepts about OS and the system software. Let me begin with a very simple, or showing you a very simple drawing here or photo, because I just got it from the internet. And you might notice that there are some familiar icons here. This is very familiar. Of course, you're very what do you call this one? You are a very keen observer, and at the same time, you might want that. Of course, this is one of the most familiar. We also have Apple, and I don't know if you're also familiar with the Linux, okay? Because seldom that it is being used for day-to-day activities, but later on you will soon discover that this is also a very important operating system. And of course, nowadays we have here the use of Android, yeah, and most of our mobile gadgets are Android based, and of course we also have the very famous Mac OS. Of course, these are they are not different with that of the Apple computers or simply the Mac OS or the iOS that is being used by Apple devices or gadgets. Now, the most popular, operating system that is being used nowadays is, of course, the very famous. We have here our Windows, we have Apple mobile gadgets, and we have a lot of it. And that is actually we have the Android OS, and of course, yeah, this Linux. Okay, usually this is being used in a backend server. Okay, usually it is being used as a proxy server. Okay, in my in my research, and at the same time in some of my readings, yeah, this is one of the the Linux, okay, is very important in networking also. All right, what is an operating system? Right now, I cannot use, or I cannot present, and I cannot even use whether your laptop or computer has the best specifications in the whole world. But definitely you cannot actually use, you cannot do this presenting these discussions about operating system without installation of a specific operating system that you need to install it to your system. Simple definition here is that an operating system is a low-level piece of software that manages the computer's hardware. So the key word here is there is a hardware here and the software. It manages the computer's hardware and software and provides an interface between the user and, of course, the main computer or the computer that we are using right now. So I cannot do some interactions. I cannot do this kind of recording of these lectures. We cannot do Zoom applications, and we cannot use any desktop publishing softwares without installing the operating system. Usually, commonly, this is abbreviated as OS, or simply we call it what is your OS of your what is the OS of your computer, or sometimes you will ask what is the OS of your gadgets. Okay, so that pertains to operating system. Now, as I mentioned a while ago, it acts as an interface between the user and the computer. And let me present that in this very simple diagram. So if you notice, it sits in between the hardware okay, in between the hardware, software, and of course the one, or we consider ourselves as the client or the users who's going to use this computer. So definitely, if you notice this area here where operating sits in between the human users or us and of course the hardware, and then the different application softwares that you're going to install. Okay, so it's not only limited to the application software, but also to the some other system softwares that are being installed on top of the operating system. Okay, so for example, this video recording software cannot be installed in my computer without installing first the operating system. From the word alone, operating system. So see the very importance of the OS here from this very simple diagram. All right. In a more sophisticated or more considered as the considering all the tasks and the different functions that is attached to the operating system. Okay, when you install the operating system in your laptop or your device, okay, there is a very important component of an operating system. We call it as the kernel. Okay, we can dig in into this about what is this kernel. It's actually the primary program of the operating system. And if you notice, there are some device driver here. Okay, you cannot actually device drivers cannot just be different devices in your computer system, or if you attach other devices, actually it cannot work without the operating system. Meaning, the operating system has a way to detect whether the device requires the device driver from the word alone driver. Okay, it cannot work without this small file or this little file that is connected or being installed in the system. If you notice here, there are a lot of tasks that is attached to the operating system. So it ranges from file management, user management. There's also what we call multitasking, resource management, and user interface. And of course, application software. You cannot install your PDF converters, your Microsoft Word, your games, or any application software that you use from day to day with your laptop computers. So it is very vital a very vital program. And of course, yeah, coupled with the installation of the operating system, when you install the operating system, of course, it has its own utility software. So there is a way wherein when the operating system or your computer system itself encountering some error, of course, this with respect to not only limited to hardware or errors, but also if it encounters software errors, there are some utilities that can be used in order to correct the issue, or it serves as a maintenance program. Okay, whenever there is a problem in the program itself or the operating system. All right, moving on. Let's start with the utility softwares. So there are a lot of utility softwares once you install an operating system in your computers. Okay, so this software, okay, allows you to maintain, debug, upgrade. It's very important and very interesting to know that maintain, debug, upgrade, and configure the operating system, hardware and software. So there are some of these are listed, and most of these we are actually commonly using it whenever we use the operating system or we use our system. So we have here the file managers, user management, you can do that, resources manager. By the way, in just to share that operating system is also one of my what you call this one course, and not actually a course, a subject in my course as a computer engineering student. So one of the key term that actually what you call this one key functions that was regarded to the best known what you call this one function or task of our operating system is, we call it as the resource manager, or simply we call it as the resource allocator. You'll find it out, yeah. And of course, first thing here is another one is we have the compression. There is encryption, so you can encrypt your data or the files in your hard disk. There is also what we call network management. So for example, this talks about the Wi-Fi status, you can check it. And of course, the interface configuration. So if you notice here, of course, we have here the user management or resources management, file compressions, okay, that with respect to some of the folders that you can actually do some what you call this one maintenance maybe, or configuration. Now let's take a look at the task manager. So you can also take a look on what are the few applications that are running, okay, whenever you are using your operating system, or whenever you open an application software. Okay, file management software. So it allows you to view, modify, delete files. You can sort files and folders, everything. Yeah, I'm very sorry to say that this was based on a Windows based discussion. I mean, the examples that was given here, of course. Yeah, you can compress files, copy files to external devices. So everything, yeah, that's like what we're doing right now. Everything is actually considered as a very important and vital function or task of an operating system. That's file management. So you can delete, you can modify, you can view, you can sort all the folders, you can even compress and copy and paste or copy the different folders to another or external devices, probably your USB or portable drive. Next one is we have what we call user management. So you can become an administrator or a guest, at the same time also a super user. So you can actually add and remove users. You can set user access and privileges, and of course you can also monitor their activities. So user management software is very important, what you call so equally important functions or tasks of an operating system. So you can manage, and there is what we call Windows User Manager. And of course, yeah, right now, yeah, of course, there's some instances that we need to connect to the internet, and when we do Zoom meetings, especially nowadays, yeah, and especially during the what you call this one, the pandemic period. Okay, most of us are really connected to the internet due to the home-based learning or online learning, which had become a new era of having this quality education. Okay, so network management software. So this is also one task of operating system. It allows you to connect to the networks. You can view the networks. You can even set up ad hoc networks, or you can configure even other networks. Okay, or using your laptop or using your device. Okay, you can actually configure the networks of I mean, if you are planning to create what we call local area network, so it can be done. Okay, you can configure it using your laptop with the, of course, you need to install the operating system, although there is what we call NOS, the network operating system. Of course, these are server based. Okay, when you are managing a lot of networks, but still, yeah, it is considered as an operating system, only that the specifics is a network operating system. The one that we are using currently now is these are standard operating system, or for desktop publishing. When I mean the standard, yeah, it's specific for, it's not specific for network and so on. So it is a day-to-day operating system that we are using. From the next one is we have the resource management. You notice that the task manager here, it allocates the percentage of how much memory should be needed. Okay, it depends on the program. Okay, that's how intelligent the operating system is. That's why it's could be, I usually consider it as the resource allocator. So whenever you open an application program, in this example here, Adobe Dreamweaver, okay, Adobe Photoshop. So if you notice, these are very big. I mean, it requires a lot of memory and CPU usage, okay, or percentage of the CPU. Okay, you can view running tasks. You can also kill unwanted processes. When I say kill, you're just going to end the process. There can be also what we call debug system errors and performance issues. Alright, so I think that would be all. The introduction to the basic concepts, or introduction to operating system with respect to the different tasks or the operating system functions. Thank you very much.